the host, although I guess he's not the central character, is Max. So tell me about the people who come to visit Max.
Max is central in a sort of geographic way. It's his house. It's his family. Everybody is connected to him in some way. In some cases, to him rather than to others. He owns a house in Pacific Palisades. He's a movie director who has had a long and probably productive career, but he's no longer current in any way. He's made plenty of money over the years. And it's the day after the 2003 Oscars and a few days after the beginning of the Iraq War. And sort of without him intending it, his family converges on the place. His partner is there already, and his daughter shows up. An old friend of his from practically elementary school, I think, shows up. Pretty soon, his partner's son is hanging around. Then a neighbor comes over. His former mother-in-law lives in the mother-in-law house. His former wife shows up to say hi to her daughter, but she ends up staying, and she has her boyfriend with her. So 10 people accumulate, 5 men and 5 women. And they decide, as a lot of us did at the beginning of the Iraq War, to sort of bunker down and have some time together. I don't know if that was their intention, but that's what they end up doing, is bunkering down and having time together, and also simultaneously avoiding and discussing the Iraq War. They also, since they're Hollywood people, they watch a lot of movies, and they tell a lot of stories and a lot of jokes. And he even pitches a movie to them.
The book is about sex, love, life, death, war, peace. Couldn't you find anything big to write about?
Well, all of those, it's about all of those things, but all of those are filtered through narratives, because the characters themselves aren't really doing anything. They're eating, they're making love, they're watching movies, some of them are reading books or reading the newspaper. But mostly they're telling stories to one another about some of the things they've done over the years, some of the things they are doing. And so I think the book is about all those things, but only as those things are filtered through stories and pictures and movies and talk. So it's really about talking.
They don't all get along, which is good.
No, they don't.
And some of them quite noisily don't get along.
If you had said to them a week ago, you're going to be holed up with mom and dad's girlfriend and mom's boyfriend and grandma and her best friend, you know, at least Isabel and probably several of the others would have said, no way, you know. But that's what happens. Families come together for reasons of chance or obligation, and they find that the other people in the family are interesting, and they get along, and they have connections with one another, and that they can work out some of their problems if they want to, and if chance colludes with that desire. And so that's what they do. They have a few arguments. They argue about the Iraq War, but they also argue a little bit about their relationships, and they get something out of it, I think. But, you know, at the end of the 10 days, I would say almost everybody's glad to see the back of almost everybody else.
Which any really good family get-together, or indeed any party, really, is,
I think so, yeah.
They've not had an indifferent time.
No. They've had a pretty energetic time. They've taken their hair down, as it were. There are 3 couples. One is an established couple, the director Max and his girlfriend Elena, who's a writer of self-improvement books. One is a kind of off and on couple that's pretty secret, which is Max's daughter Isabel and Max's agent Stoney, who's a good deal older than she is. And then there's a kind of incipient couple, which is the movie star Zoe and her guru lover. They had been actually on the way to the Buddhist monastery up in Northern California, but they had stayed here instead, probably because it was more luxurious and comfortable. So there are 3 couples, and then Delphine, who is Isabel's grandmother and Zoe's mother, she lives in the mother-in-law house, and the next-door neighbor is a woman named Cassie, and she and Delphine are very good friends. So you could call them a couple in a way. They're a couple of friends. And then the 20-year-old Elena's son, Simon. The 20-year-old son Simon. He's not in the mood for being a couple. He's a really good-looking guy, and
he's in the mood to couple.
He's in the mood to couple, but he's not a couple with anyone. And then there's Max's old friend Charlie, who has come from the East Coast, and I've noticed over the years that a lot of men have these friends from early childhood that they truly don't have anything in common with anymore except history. But they come around, and they, everybody in the family says, why is he here? And yet he has something to offer too. Charlie does.
The book is 10 Days in the Hills. I've been speaking with the novelist and winner of the Pulitzer Prize, Jane Smiley, and 10 Days in the Hills, published by Knopf.